When you get rich, tell no one. Or should I say, when you get money, please shut your mouth. Don't tell anybody. Remain mum. Probably you might say, let the success speak on itself. Don't be on strangers explaining to people that you made it. You're okay. Everything is going good. Purchasing that car that you really don't need it, in the name of proving to them that I know success usually comes with this thing from deep inside of yourself. You feel like, for example, let's say you are employed somewhere and you are making, let's say, 10,000 in a month, and then all of a sudden you've gotten yourself some gigs that are making you that 10,000 in a day. You feel like you want to share that. You feel like you want to talk to people, motivate them, tell them. You feel like you can go to the enemy's face and be like, hey, you say that I'm gonna make it, here I am. You see, they are that motivation. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with you. Almost everyone has that feeling. You feel like you can go and tell. Just remain shut. Don't tell anybody. Don't speak about it. Let them see whatever you're doing out there, which is valuable to them or to you. Tell them that indeed you're becoming more successful. And now that is exactly what we're going to talk in this particular video. When you become rich, when you become successful, when you make money, please remain shut or remain mum. That way, you'll not be able to get a lot of problems coming along the way. Anyway, this is Good Joseph, and as always, make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to be notified whenever I upload a new good video. Make sure that you leave a comment on the comment section, because hey, guess what? For God's sake, this is an interactive session, and we are here to learn from each other, just like an iron sharpens another iron. Okay, go together. Come on board now. Here you are. See, when you become rich or when you make money, are we together? It is always good to make sure that you remain shut. Don't tell anybody anything, because if you do, number one, first of all, before I tell you what are the repercussions of telling people you are wealthy, first of all, becoming rich or being rich is a state of being, not the state of telling people. For example, when you become wealthy, it's not a state of training to tell people that you're wealthy. It's a state of being wealthy or being rich that people can even tell. By the way, for example, I don't know, there are people who have the ability to just look at you and be like, you know what, yeah, I can see you're playing small, you're trying to play, frugal or something, but I can tell you have the money. Money will speak itself. Usually wear this aura. You usually wear this kind of a thing that people can even tell from a mile. And that's why you can go to a place whereby, people are eating dinner and there's someone seated somewhere at the corner, listening to cool music, or somebody's just minding his or her own business, cool reservation and cool demeanor. And did you know that guy can even purchase that particular restaurant or that particular flat? But anyway, point is, the moment you speak about you becoming wealthy or you being wealthy or having money, you attract unnecessary competition. You attract a what? You attract unnecessary competition. Okay, competition is okay, but we have unnecessary competition. Okay, now when you say, hey, you know what, I'm doing this and that, you attract unnecessary competition. And this can actually result even from the family members. The moment now you're trying to prove to them that you have the money, you're actually pulling this kind of a competition like, hey, you know what, everyone is training to be like you. Or someone is training to be more than you, of which there is nothing wrong. By the way, it's good and by the way, this is what we call unhealthy competition. And this unhealthy or unnecessary competition, it's a competition which can even mean like stumbling the other for the sake of me making it, or making sure that I can do anything to make sure that I trounce you, from that particular position that you are in. And that particular kind of a competition is usually not necessary. Let me give this example, though it's a weird one, but I hope it will help me to explain my point. Let's say, for example, Kenya decides to buy or invest in some of the, lethal weapons. Okay, let's use an example of intercontinental ballistic missiles and what have you. And then Tanzania or Kenya or Uganda or our neighbors would be like, why would Kenya be investing in those kind of things? Who are they anticipating to attack, or who are they kind of about to create enmities with and something? So that actually necessitates the other countries to be like, you know what, hey, we should buy our anti-missile and anti-whatever and what have you. So that brings up what we call unhealthy competition. Probably that money could have been channeled towards acquisition of, say, good tippers, or maybe making some infrastructures and what have you. But it's unhealthy. That's what it's called an arms race. Okay, fine. Let's forget about that example. Let's come to our conversation as far as the finances are concerned. Now, what happens when you actually speak about, you have money and what have you, you attract unhealthy competition. Another thing is you actually attract, you attract unnecessary responsibilities. What does it mean? You having money, for example, let's say you're a brother to somebody, or you're a sister or an uncle or somebody, you have the cash and you've tried the best as you can to prove to them that indeed you have the cash. Guess what happens now? They relate to, this is my brother. So you know what? Because we come from the same, family, and of course I know my brother loves me, of which is true. I mean, you should love your brothers anyway. I 100% support that. Now, what happens is like, you know what? So I feel like my brother would love to see me training. So therefore, I'm actually struggling to do some other things here. So I tend to be like, you know what? My brother can help me. And when I say there's nothing wrong with helping people, but you find some people tend not to be responsible of their own needs because you are there and you have the cash, and then therefore they tend to tell you, hey, you can help me or help us do one or two things. Probably that thing they could have actually done it by themselves, so that it can cultivate the culture of responsibility and accountability and not reliability. But you have not done that because you've proven to them that you can be able to do that if they're obsessed. It's like telling somebody, hey, don't worry about the cash, just don't worry about the cash. You know what? It's like telling your kids that way, don't worry about the cash, you guys do whatever you want to do, money's there and whatever. Probably those words can actually bring up lazy people, irresponsible people, and without you knowing, everything can be squandered and you go back to square zero. So that way, help people, true, but at the same time, help them responsibly and bring up responsible people who can also be responsible of their lives, and surely they can press that a call button for help indeed when they really deserve that particular help. And that way, whenever you give them help, indeed it helps them. Why? Because the moment you help somebody who is deserving, they're gonna use that help in growing themselves such that they not only become a liability to you, but they become a blessing to someone else because they got the help. That's when we say, please, when you remain shut, you cannot attract these unhealthy or unnecessary responsibilities. Number 3, another thing, you can actually be able to do what? Attract what? You can attract what we call unrealistic pricing. You find like whatever you're being given as your price, it is not the real price that is out there. Let's say, for example, you prove to people that, hey, you have the cash and what have you. You even struggle. We have one politician here in Kenya who love to, flows about how much they have. Let's say you operate a barber shop and this dude shows up. Of course, you don't charge them the way you charge the normal regular, say, VIPs. These guys flounce on how much they have and what have you. Let's say something costs like 2,000. You can tell them 86,000, 3 times of whatever they usually charge normally. And because they usually tell people that they have the money, they wouldn't bargain because, they have the money. Isn't it? So because them bargaining, it shows that, you know what, they're like, oh wow, so you don't have money. Usually brag on social media, but because they don't want to bring down their ego or the pride, then they end up paying that particular thing. So it is good to, when you do not speak on how much you have, let people think on how much they have, because people tend to charge you based on how you look, how much you have, and something like that. So you go somewhere. I have been in construction. I was in construction industry for 4 years. And I can tell, when you go to a place and you find somebody, look at the, let's say you're going for an innovation, and then you look at that particular home, you look at that particular kind of environment and atmosphere, you feel like this is a home for money, and you end up giving them, people used to do that to some extent. Yeah, even Joseph, to some extent, time to time, I used to kind of, gauge the client based on how much they have anyway, to be sincere. So you can just tell them, hey, I charge 80,000. Probably that thing could have gone for 70,000. There's that increment of 10,000. But that way, they already know the pricing. They know that you have, in Kenya, we say you've gongad them, meaning that you've, kind of make a little bit out of them. But they're like, you know what? I know it's 70, but yeah, sure, you can get the 10. And some are very wise that if you get that 10 from them, then they always make sure that they get that 10 from you in another way. So anyway, the point is, it's good to, when you have the wisdom of shutting your mouth, not speaking out there how much you have and all what have you. And if you come from Africa, there is this belief that if you keep on saying anything, you actually attract negative spirits. You know, you attract this, you know, what we call the quote unquote bada. You have these people, you know, just say anything, you know. You can even attract some attacks or something like that. Like you can flaws in your car that usually walk with 1 million, 100,000, whatever the thing it is. You can just imagine. You don't even know who is actually watching. You don't even know who you are telling. You don't even know whom you're bragging to. You can be bragging to somebody who is very innocent. It's not even an attacker. It's not even a thief. It's not even a thugger. It's not even a thug or something like that. But they end up sharing that information innocently to somebody who actually drives and does that kind of thing. And then little did you know, you actually attract yourself a bad problem, or you have yourself in a messy situation, because now you've told everybody and anybody out there that you actually have this money at any given moment because you do this and what have you. That can actually result to very, very, very big problems. So it is always good to make sure that at least you live in a decent life. Just remain cool, quiet, and also do your own things out there. If they end up knowing that, for example, somebody like Elon Musk can't hide. I mean, his wealth is all over the internet. He's known to be the wealthiest individual on earth. Well, making these videos of 2025 and something like that. So, excuse me. See, if you're such kind of an individual, so therefore it means that you don't have any problem, or rather you don't have any option apart from just, it is what it is. But before you reach there, especially if you're in your building stage, if you're in a building stage, please don't press that, you know, shout button early. Just accumulate, build yourself, build yourself, build yourself. Even when you're going out there to help your family members, you know, be smart, be wise, you know, and have wisdom, accompany wisdom. Because I came to realize that you really need to have a lot of wisdom handling money, because it takes time and energy to make cash, but brains to keep it. If you do not have the brains to keep it, you're gonna lose it. You know, it takes a lot of energy to make it, takes a lot of time, but also takes a lot of brains to actually keep it as well as manage it. And if you do not have high retention capacity, the absorbability capacity, the wealth gonna just fly away. The Bible says it's gonna grow wings, it's gonna go. It's good to have wisdom, remain sharp, be humble, and move along. But if you're made up of a different material, I was about to say you can do whatever you wish you can do with your cash. After all, it's your money. But the reality is, those are the principles, those are the realities. It's good to remain calm, remain quiet, and do your thing. Move in silent. That is it. Let the success make this noise for you. For now, so goodbye and see you in the next one. And by the way, if you need my services in one way or the other, my number is always on the description of this particular video. Go grab it, shoot me a call or a text. Let's talk business for now. So goodbye and see you in the next one.